to The Update. I'm Paul Whatley with the Paul Whatley team at Climate Realty, and The Update is here where we're going to be discussing local real estate news as well as just general ramblings that come across our head and what's going on in the world. So overview today, Matt and I are actually going to be talking about the shifting real estate market in the central Shenandoah Valley, as well as college football, the World Series, which I'm pretty excited about as well. And we're going to share with you our tips on our favorite date night restaurants in the area. So with that, we're going to first dive in, taking a look at the recent report that has come out about the third quarter of our local real estate market. Now, we're going to hit some of the highlights of that third quarter report, but you can find a more in-depth description as well as analytics and graphs about our local real estate market at homes.report. And we'll make sure to leave a link in the description below this video. Matt, as we are looking back at the third quarter, has anything surprised you about the third quarter of 2021?
No, nothing surprising here. It's on pace, for the entire year. Obviously, we know that the average sales price is up basically every corner of the county, and then the units sold are up from 2020 as well. So we're seeing growth. Inventory is low, so that's obviously a big factor, and it's been a key theme of the 2021 real estate market. But we are still seeing heavy buyer activity and increased prices, which is good for the sellers. But how do you feel like the end of the year is going to close out? What are your predictions for the fourth quarter?
Well, I think it's interesting because we talk about how sales are actually up this year. We've actually seen that as a trend each year. We've had we've grown in the number of homes that have actually sold each year. And so, we have to look at why is that. 2021, a big piece of that is because we've actually seen an increase in the amount of new construction in our local markets. Primarily, this has been around a lot of attached homes like townhouses and duplexes, but we're also seeing a large number of single-family homes in developments, especially those smaller homes in that, say 1,200 to 1,500 square foot. And with that new construction, obviously that's helping inventory levels to be higher. But it can be misleading, and the reason for that is because obviously when we're collecting this data to say where is inventory and how much supply do we have, we're taking those numbers, a snapshot on just one particular day, and saying, okay, on this date at this time, how many homes are currently on the market and how long would it take us to sell those homes if we continue to sell at that pace. So it can be a little bit misleading when we say inventory is low, which it is a little bit lower than normal, but there's actually still quite a bit of activity and quite a bit of opportunities out there for those who are looking, especially if you're looking for one of those new construction homes. Mm-hmm. And to your question, what do we think is going to look like for the rest of the year? Well, I think we're going to continue to see a little bit of this volatility. We're going to continue to see some volatility in the mortgage interest rate. I also think we're going to continue to see more new homes come online. There are more subdivisions with smaller homes that are coming online, and that's going to see prices continue to grow a little bit. So this is actually a good thing in most cases. We're seeing that because interest rates are still staying fairly low, even though there's a little bit of movement each week, we're going to continue to see a strong, healthy real estate market, which is what we all want to see. What do you think? Anything else that you're looking at for the remainder of this year?
Yeah, obviously, I think we're in a four-season market, so we won't see a drastic cutback in activity, but obviously the winter comes with some dip, and I have a handful of buyers that are still eager and ready to find the right house. So I'm hoping that things will come up that fit their preferences, and keeping my fingers crossed and checking every day at new listings. So hopefully we see a little bit more inventory here around the holiday season that will at least match up with the clients that I'm working for, what they're looking to get.
Which an important piece as we look at with buyers, one of the big pieces is a lot of economists right now are already starting to kind of look at the remainder of this year, as well as starting to forecast and make predictions about the real estate market for 2022. And most of them are making predictions that we are going to see interest rates rise, which, as we know, we've been kind of hearing that for a couple of years, that interest rates are going to rise. But if we do see those interest rates start to tick up, what does that mean for buyers and sellers?
So obviously your interest rate going up on the buyer side, you may see less people interested that are, obviously the people right now that are kind of flooding the market are trying to take advantage of that historically low rate, which is going to help them out tremendously financially. So we might see a correction in terms of the number of sellers and number of buyers if that were to happen, which would be pretty good. You'll find an equilibrium and hopefully, some of the bidding and some of these other things that I think are deterring certain buyers from getting into the market, things that might be a little bit scary will cool down, and we'll kind of see hopefully some normal activity.
And I think for sellers as well, as we see, or anticipate the increase in interest rates, what sellers need to be thinking about is that it is going to make the market a little bit more competitive. Instead of buyers having, a lot of multiple offers on most listings, what we're going to see is actually that sellers are going to have to put in a little bit more effort, or rather expect a little bit more from their realtors to get the home ready, which means making sure that some of those overdue maintenance items have been done, making sure that if there's any areas for minor updates, maybe it's painting a room, hanging a new light fixture, those little things are going to start to be the difference maker as we see the market to get a little bit more competitive. Because a lot of the increase that we've actually seen in pricing is directly correlated to interest rates. As interest rates have gone down, buyers can afford more home because low interest rates makes their mortgage payment a little bit less. And so that accounts for not all, but a lot of the price increase that we've seen. So as that interest rate ticks up, buyers will not be able to afford quite as much. And so when it comes time for sellers to make sure that they're putting their best foot forward, they want to really make sure that their home is ready. Now let's shift to college football. So, we talked a couple of weeks ago, week 6, had that, mid-season recap, and here we are heading into week 9, and Georgia's still number 1.
The Bulldogs are still rolling. Yep, big game this weekend against Florida.
Yeah, the SEC is one of those that you can never underestimate any team in the SEC. And so Florida has played some tough football. They've had some close losses, but they're still a very powerful team and playing on neutral ground in Jacksonville, Florida. So it'll be a big game. Georgia's definitely got a target on their back. So, Matt, last time we talked about college football and the update, you actually gave me a quiz about, some stats in football. And so now I want to return the favor to you.
Okay.
So now heading into week 9, how many undefeated teams do we have remaining?
Okay. How well have I been paying attention? It's less than 10, probably a little bit more than 5. I know Cincinnati survived a close one, so I think it's 6 teams.
6 teams? It's actually 9.
Wow.
9 undefeated teams still remaining. Now, some of those, aren't ranking as high up in the polls because strength of schedule definitely plays into things a little bit. But we actually have 2 of those undefeated teams facing each other this weekend in Michigan and Michigan State. So, and they're actually, they're playing in East Lansing. So, what's your prediction?
I think, unfortunately, because I'm not a big fan of him, but I think this might be Jim Harbaugh's fruition year when all of the criticism kind of fades away. I think he's going to win this game. He's the more seasoned coach of the 2 this weekend. I think he's probably going to take an undefeated team to face the Buckeyes for a spot in the title game too. So it'll be interesting to see that matchup, but I do think Michigan wins this weekend.
So, actually, I have a lot of family that live in Ohio State. They're big Buckeye fans, except for my sister-in-law, who's a Michigan fan. So there's part of me that really wants to cheer against Michigan. But I think that Michigan State may be a little bit more hungry for this one than Michigan is. So, I would pick Michigan State at least to cover the spread on this one. So now next question is, so we've obviously had a lot of losses in the top 10, but how many one-loss teams do we still have that might be competing for a playoff spot?
There's a handful in every conference. 8?
14. Wow. 14 one-loss teams. Of course, one of those is Alabama.
Yeah.
And so we've got a couple of one-loss teams in there that I think can still make a bid for it, but it's definitely going to make for an interesting next few weeks in college football. So what are those games that you think we need to be watching this week as we're contemplating, the next steps in college football?
Well, I mean, my dad's a Penn State alumni, so I wish it was a bigger game. But Penn State Ohio State is this weekend, so it's definitely one to keep your eye on. Looks like the Nittany Lions have kind of run out of air in their hot air balloon that was flying high a little bit ago.
Especially after 9 overtimes.
Oh, that's just deflating. I mean,
9 overtimes.
And you lose to a 2-5 team. I don't know how you get up to go on the road and face the Buckeyes, but hopefully it's a close game, and you never know. It's college football, so anything can happen. But I think Ohio State wins.
I think Ohio State wins. Yeah, we already talked Georgia, Florida. Obviously, you can never count out any team in the SEC, so that's going to be a big one. We already talked Michigan, Michigan State. This one has big implications just because we're talking about two very well-prepared, undefeated teams, facing each other. So that's going to be a good one. And then the last one, I think, is Ole Miss and Auburn. And the reason I think this one is going to be and Ole Miss is playing in Auburn this year, and I think this is going to be such a big game because it's going to have implications for the SEC West. If Ole Miss can hold out, it's really going to, be a contention there between Ole Miss and Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So enough about college football. Let's talk World Series. It's time for the Fall Classic.
This is a painful subject for me as a Red Sox fan. Because I was really last week. I mean, they were crushing the ball, the hottest team in baseball, and then suddenly 3 games in a row they score under 4 runs.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really expected this to be a World Series between the Astros and the Braves. I mean, very kind of unexpected.
Not even a week ago. I mean, very last minute shift in the wind.
Right. The Braves actually, and I think this is what makes the Fall Classic and the World Series such an incredible thing is because to a certain degree, it doesn't matter how well you've played the rest of the season. It's, how well are you playing come October?
Yep.
And the Braves have really turned it on. I mean, they didn't even have a winning season until come August. And so Braves have turned it on. I think their pitching is firing on all cylinders. And then we also have kind of the unexpected rise of Eddie Rosario that is just, he's hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Freeman is doing well, so there's a lot going for the Braves.
Yep.
And, Georgia boy, I got to pull for my Bravos on this one and just chop on, So what do you think? Who's your pick?
I'll be pulling for the Braves, but I think the Astros are going to win. I don't know what happened to them, but they have just caught something. And they've always had a good team, and obviously they had the big scandal. So they're kind of the enemy of the whole league right now. So I think they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. That's just going to be hard to beat. But I would love to see the Braves win.
Yeah. As we're recording this, it's Tuesday, so Game 1 is actually tonight. So by the time this actually gets out there,
we'll know.
We'll know where things are headed. So it'll be good. So last kind of thing is, we love our community, and the Harrisonburg, Rockingham, Bridgewater, Stanton. There's just Fishersville, Waynesboro, some great restaurants in the area. And I know that you and I really enjoy being able to take our wives out and have a good dinner with them every once in a while. What's your favorite date night restaurant?
Well, I'll tell you, my wife and I, so we started dating in high school, and our spot used to be Union Station. We would go there for 6-month anniversaries, 12-month anniversaries. Recently it shifted though. We felt like we were a little classier back then. Now we're unashamedly just Jack Brown's. Anytime I ask Kirsten, what do you want to eat tonight? Let's go out. It's Jack Brown's. So we're okay with that. We love it there.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere.
Yep.
It is definitely a good burger. Good atmosphere being right downtown.
Mm-hmm.
You got a favorite on the menu?
Yeah, I go with the Cobra Kai. I like some spice and heat. So the shocker is a little too much with the habaneros, but I do try that every now and then. I throw that one in there too.
Yeah. So Nicole and I, we try to get out every little while and have a date night, just two of us to talk and catch up. It's very important for our marriage. But our 2 favorite places here in the Harrisonburg area, we love Rocktown Kitchen. And as crazy as it sounds, I think one of the best things on the menu is their meatloaf. It's that, especially this time of year, it's just this perfect comfort food, incredible flavor, definitely a large portion, so you'll probably be taking
Can't
some
go wrong
home.
there.
No. But our other one is actually right across the street from the Klein May office in downtown Stanton, which is Aioli's. You know, it's kind of got a Mediterranean cuisine, and their risotto is just perfect. I mean, it's just an incredible place, nice small restaurant, and great food.
Yeah, I'll have to get out and try that one. Haven't been there.
So Matt, any final ramblings, you know, for this edition of the update?
No, these are a lot of fun, and we appreciated doing the college football video last time. We got some good reception from our followers, so we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys chime in on your college football World Series opinions or your favorite date night restaurant in the comments.
Yeah. Leave us a comment. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave us a comment. It really does make a difference. And we look forward to talking to you again soon with the next update in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care.